Good evening. I'd like to call to order the May 22nd, 2024 meeting of the Fond du Lac City Council. The first item of business is roll call, which is done electronically, and I will declare a quorum is present with Ms. Leering absent. The next item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, which is followed by a moment of silent reflection. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the next item on our agenda is Fond du Lac Fire and Rescue check presentation to the American Red Cross. If you could please come on down.
Thank you, Madam President. The American Red Cross is an amazing community partner that we deal with quite often. They do such great things for our community, starting from hosting blood drives, which, by the way, this Friday, Fond du Lac Fire Rescue is hosting a blood drive from 12 to 5, still spots open. Anyone looking to donate blood? They also do smoke detector drives, which we have participated with them, and I think since 2014 they have installed over 2 million smoke detectors. And then lastly is their disaster response. And obviously with the storms that came through last night, they did some disaster responding up in Kokona, you said? And they also are there after a fire. Obviously, if you experience a fire, it could be the worst day of your life. Red Cross is there providing shelter and different needs at that point. So Local 400 and City of Fond du Lac Fire Rescue is proud to present this check from our brat fry, which was 2 weeks ago, of $6,100 for the Red Cross.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You wanna say anything?
Oh, I wasn't prepared. We are so thankful to continue this tradition. Do you know how many years it's been? For a very long tradition. At least 10 years of doing the Fond du Lac brat fry, and it was great fun to be out there. We brought a lot of our disaster team and some of our other team members, and it was a beautiful day. And this has really been a great opportunity for us to partner in different ways with some of the partners who we work with every day to save lives, and we're just so grateful for the extra above and beyond that you go to help us as well. So thank you.
Thank you. And our next item is a proclamation declaring May 24th, 2024 as Poppy Day. If our Poppy Princess could meet me down front, if you want to bring any of your friends or family down with you, I'll meet you right up front here. Whereas America is the land of freedom, preserved and protected willingly and freely by the men and women of the armed forces, and whereas millions who have answered the call to arms have died on the field of battle, and whereas a nation must be reminded of the price of war and the debt owed to those that have died in war, and whereas the red crepe paper poppy has been designated as a symbol of the sacrifice of lives in all wars, and whereas the American Legion family has pledged to remind citizens annually of this debt through the distribution of the memorial flower. Now, therefore, I, Tiffany Brault, Fond du Lac City Council President, do hereby proclaim Friday, May 24th, 2024 as Poppy Day in the city of Fond du Lac, and ask that all citizens please pay tribute to those that have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom by wearing the memorial poppy on this day. Come on down. All right, and then if any of our veterans and police officers in the room could please rise so that our Poppy Princess could bring you a poppy. Here. So, got it right over here. Oh, Aliana, there's one over here too. Well, thank you so much to our Poppy Princess for helping us with this day of remembrance. Thank you. All right, next on our agenda is public hearings, and we have none. So we'll move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda finalizes the proposed actions for the meeting. A, May 8th, 2024 minutes, and B, list of claims dated May 15th, 2024. Are there any questions or discussion? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Schussler. I'll second. Second by Mr. Zimmerman. Are there any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, please proceed to vote. And that passes unanimously. Next on our agenda is audience comments, agenda and non-agenda items. The presiding officer will limit speaking time for non-agenda items to 1 minute and items noticed on the agenda to 5 minutes. Ms. Hefter, do we have anyone wishing to speak? We do not, so that concludes our audience comments. Next, we'll move on to our action items. Item A is permit to sell fermented malt beverages on park property. The entity is Fond du Lac Festivals, Inc. Event is Walleye Weekend, location Lakeside Park, date June 7th, 2024 through June 9th, 2024. And our introduction is by our city clerk, Ms. Hefter.
Thank you, President Brauld. Fond du Lac Festivals is requesting to sell fermented malt beverages on park property on June 7th through the 9th, 2024 for Walleye Weekend. A special event application has been submitted and approved, and city staff recommends approval with the condition that no carry-ins are permitted in the designated area.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Ms. Hefter? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Mullen and second by Mr. Heisler. Are there any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, please proceed to vote. And that passes unanimously. Next is item B, and I think Ms. Hefter will just do one introduction for this next set of resolutions. We have Resolution 9125, a resolution waiving the prohibition against possession of alcoholic beverages on specified public ways and allowing a temporary expansion of premises for Thelma at 51 Sheboygan Street on June 15, 2024 for the Saturday concert series.
Thank you again. Thelma Sadov Center for the Arts is requesting the city to waive possession of alcoholic beverages and expand their premises description to sell and consume on public streets for the June 15th Saturday concert series. A special event application has been submitted and approved by city staff with no glass containers or carry-ins are permitted in the designated area. The requests for the July and August concert series are just to waive the possession of alcohol because they have expanded their premises description with their annual license renewal. Additionally, the same recommendations apply to the pop-up events, major street concerts, and Fondue Fest. You will still need to vote on each item separately, but would be happy to answer any questions on the proposed resolutions.
Are there any questions for Ms. Hefter? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of 9125.
Motion by Mr. Heisler and second by Mr. Godfrey. Are there any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, please proceed to vote. And that passes unanimously. Item C is resolution number 9126, a resolution waiving the prohibition against possession of alcoholic beverages on specified public ways for Thelma at 51 Sheboygan Street on July 13th, 2024, and August 17th, 2024 for the Saturday concert series. Are there any questions or discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Godfrey and second by Mr. Heisler. Are there any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, please proceed to vote. And that passes unanimously. Item D is resolution. Yes. Matter. Sorry, just a little technical. Okay. All right. My iPad is wrong, but well, item D is resolution number 9127, a resolution waiving the prohibition against possession of alcoholic beverages on specified public ways and allowing a temporary expansion of premises for Thelma at 51 Sheboygan Street for pop-up events in June 2024. Are there any questions or discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Okay. Motion by Mr. Schussler and second by Mr. Mullen. Are there any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, please proceed to vote. And that passes unanimously. Item E is resolution number 9128, a resolution waiving the prohibition against possession of alcoholic beverages on specified public ways for Thelma at 51 Sheboygan Street for pop-up events in July, August, and September 2024. Are there any questions on this resolution? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
It's your turn, Zimmerman. I'll second.
All right, motion by Mr. Zimmerman, second by Mr. Heisler. Seeing no discussion on this, please proceed to vote. And that passes unanimously. Item F is resolution number 9129, a resolution waiving the prohibition against possession of alcoholic beverages on specified public ways for Thelma at 51 Sheboygan Street on July 27th, 2024, and August 3rd, 2024 for major street concerts. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Mr. Godfrey, second by Mr. Heisler. Seeing no questions or discussion, please proceed to vote. And that passes unanimously. Finally, item G is resolution number 9130, a resolution waiving the prohibition against possession of alcoholic beverages on specified public ways for Thelma at 51 Sheboygan Street on September 7th, 2024 for a Fondue Fest concert. Are there any questions on this resolution? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Schussler and second by Mr. Heisler. Seeing no questions or discussion, please proceed to vote. And that passes unanimously. Next is item H, resolution number 9131, a resolution approving the application for an Urban Forestry Inflation Reduction Act grant, and our introduction is by our Public Works Director, Mr. DeVries.
Thank you, President Prout. The resolution in front of you is for us to submit an application to the DNR, and this would allow us to get access to Inflation Reduction Act funding for an urban forestry grant. What's unique about this is it's actually a 100% grant, and the only city funds attached to this would be staff time putting the application together and managing contractors that we would hire to do the work. So there'd be tree planting, maybe pruning, and just items related to urban forestry. Excuse me, they are limited to disadvantaged sections of the city, so it's the central city kind of north and then also the northwest. But we have plenty of projects we could do in those areas. And so we'd recommend approval. It's very competitive, but we're hoping we can get at least something to make it worthwhile. But I'd recommend approval and be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. DeVries? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Oh, wait, Mr. Mullen.
Can you give me some idea of the size of the potential grants? What's the range?
The range would be anywhere from 1,000 up to 500,000. We wouldn't probably be there. I would guess we'd be in the neighborhood of 50 to 100.
Okay.
And that's what we'd ask for. That doesn't mean we get that. Like I said, it's going to be very competitive because of the no match. So I mean, it's hard to say what we'll get, but there could be some significant dollars that would help us out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. All right, motion by Mr. Mullen and second by Mr. Heisler. Are there any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, please proceed to vote. And that passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. DeVries. Next, we have item I, ordinance number 3788, an ordinance annexing property to the city of Fond du Lac and change limits to include property in the north area of 4th Street Road and west of Highway 151. And our introduction is our Community Development Director, Ms. Benson.
Thank you, Ms. Brault. One of the ways that a city grows is by annexation. Annexation is a process by which we legally change the municipal boundaries, including with the state, to add land to our area. And we're able to do this because the city has a cooperative plan with the adjoining towns that basically outline the areas that the city can grow in and the areas that the city can't grow. This is one of the areas where the city does grow, and this is a location that is intended to come into the city. The parcel in question is looking to access our city sewer and water. This is not a development project. This is merely somebody who's looking to connect to our services. To connect to our services, you need to be a city resident. So staff and Plan Commission has recommended approval.
Thank you, Ms. Benson. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Godfrey and second by Mr. Zimmerman. Thank you. Are there any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, please proceed to vote. And that passes unanimously. Next, we have item J, ordinance number 3789, a zoning ordinance to zone annexed property to R4 multifamily residential, 2.67 acres of land, 4th Street Road. Introduction again is by our Community Development Director, Ms. Benson.
Thank you, Ms. Brault. Congratulations, you've just expanded your city boundaries. And as we all know, that every single parcel within the city has a designated land use, and there goes zoning. And in this situation, we are looking to have this parcel zoned R4 multifamily. And we do this because that is the most adjacent zoning district. We don't do spot zoning, we just don't do random zoning. It needs to be consistent and cohesive. And R4 is the closest city zoning district to that, and that's why it's been recommended by both Plan Commission and staff.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Ms. Benson? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval of 3790.
Motion by Mr. Heisler and second by Mr. Godfrey. Thank you.
Sorry, 3789.
Oh, sorry, I didn't catch that either. All right. So we have a motion by Mr. Heisler on the correct ordinance,
3789.
and then second by Mr. Godfrey?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Are there any questions or discussion? Seeing none, please proceed to vote. And that passes unanimously. Next, we have item K, ordinance number 3790, an ordinance rezoning 475 South Seymour Street, FDL 15, 17, 16, 44, 76501 from C2 General Commercial District to M1 Manufacturing District. And once again, our introduction is by our Community Development Director, Ms. Benson.
Thank you, Ms. Brault. As we all know, every single parcel within the city has a zoning designation. And from time to time, we sometimes need to change it. Sometimes parcels don't know what they want to be when they grow up. And so this is one of those situations where the Military Road corridor does lend itself to commercial development, but it also has quite a bit of manufacturing. And one of the things that we do know in the world of real estate, lenders and buyers don't like it when the existing land use and the existing zoning do not match. And so the parcel is currently used for manufacturing. Mercury Marine is currently using the site. And so the Z2 zoning is not consistent with the actual use. And so the current owner would like to have the zoning changed to M1 manufacturing, which is consistent with its current use and anticipated future use. The Military Road corridor is not likely to be converted to a heavily commercial corridor, and because of the adjacency of manufacturing, it is appropriate and consistent with our comprehensive plan to support this zoning change. So both staff and Plan Commission recommend approval.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Ms. Benson? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Zimmerman and second by Mr. Godfrey. Are there any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, please proceed to vote. What's going on with this? I'm an aye. And that passes unanimously. And with that, that ends our action items. Next, we'll move on to presentation of input items, but we have none for tonight. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Zimmerman.
Second.
Second by Mr. Heisler. This is not debatable. Please proceed to vote. Aye.
Mine was an ordinance I had for the.
Mine tried to vote for everything. All right, that passes unanimously. We are adjourned.
This side had no problems. Yeah. What's going on over there?